Thank you for joining us today on the Daily Balance podcast. I'm your host, Adean.
And I'm your host, Brittany.
Today's episode, Beyond the Bell Educating for a Better Tomorrow. Today, we explore the transformative power of education both inside and outside the classroom.
Today, we are honored to sit down with my bestie, my sister from another Mr., LaNyah McNeill, an educator whose career is a testament to the idea that passion and diverse perspectives are the most powerful tools for change. Naya's journey is far from typical. She's gone from studying biology to mastering political science, bringing a uniquely holistic and analytical mind to the field of education.
As a millennial educator, a proud boy mom, and a member of AKA Sorority Incorporated, Naya is constantly working at the intersection of community, personal experience, and academic insight. We'll be diving deep into how her HBCU experience changes her cultural perspective in the classroom, how she turns an understanding of student struggles into positive action, and what it truly means to live the principle of awareness into action.
Join us today as we discuss the most pressing issues facing students today, the art of translating knowledge into impactful change, and the critical advice she has for anyone struggling to take the vital first step towards making a difference. Welcome, Naya, my bestie educator.
In long life, sister.
Hey, hearts, hearts.
Hearts.
We're going to get into this. Your academic
Yes.
journey from biology to political science is unique. How did your insights into different fields shape the path you choose?
It's funny you ask. So, we always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if you asked me that 15, 20 years ago, I would have said a marine biologist.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, big jump, right? So I was still in that kind of mindset when I went off to college in 2007. So I went into biology. Unfortunately, the interest did not last long. So when I sat back for a while, I ended up going the community college route instead of the 4 year route, where, still trying to figure out what to do. That changes into just general education, not even education as far as teaching, but just like a general studies course for my associates. Then when I got to do my bachelor's, it was like, okay, what can I graduate with the quickest? What's my
No,
quickest route to get up out of here?
I'm wrapping this up.
Like, it's been too long. Let's go. I'm ready for my bachelor's to be done. So I had a academic advisor tell me, your quickest way out right now is if you go to political studies, and this will even give you a minor in sociology. I was like, I like social studies. I love science, but I could do social studies. I like keeping it engaged and knowing what's going on in the world. So I went the political science route. Then when during that last semester for political my bachelor's for political science, I ended up becoming a substitute teacher.
okay.
It was a good way to, have a little extra income, make your own hours, and educators running my family. So they were like, oh yeah, this is something that'll be easy for you. Make sure you only choose these type of schools or go for these types of classes. I was like, okay. About the third time I went to substitute, I was like, you know what? I like the classroom.
It's in your blood, education.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was like, I like the classroom. So, of course, it was too late to change majors. So, I banged out the political science degree, but then I went into lateral entry. And when you go into lateral entry, they give you 3 years to finish your teaching license. And you have a couple of different options. You can just go there for your teaching license, or you can go under the master's program. So I went into the master's program and they put me in K through 6. And I just so happened to find a job teaching social studies and science.
Oh,
So it was the best of both worlds, and keeping my love for science as wanting to be a marine biologist.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
my newfound love for social studies and political science, that's how I got to where I am today.
Oh, I love
Okay.
it.
I
Oh,
like that
I
journey.
love that you went into explaining your family history of education too. I think that's so profound.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So, you spoke about your choice, the way you chose your route and the way you went about it.
Hmm.
What unique cultural perspective from your HBCU experience did you bring to your career as an educator?
Well, being an alumni of the HBCU family is like one of the best journeys or ways I could have gone with getting my education. It has allowed me to, you know, see more positive things from our culture.
Mhm.
If you look into society today, we have a lot of things that are, what can I say? How can I say it? What put against us, make it look a certain way, certain stereotypes. So having coming from a HBCU, I like to go into the classroom, let the kids know what's available for them because my classroom looks like a lot of those HBCU campuses.
Oh, okay.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? My classroom, even though it can be diverse, we have a lot of students of color in there. And you want to be that person, not only to teach them the subject and the curriculum that you're supposed to, but also be a mentor to them. Let them know what's out there because people that they're around their home, they might not even know.
Right.
So, so the HBCU has also given me a way to show the kids like you don't have to just leave. Like, there's positive things coming from our people.
Love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
touching on that. I think being a mentor and, even touching base with me, you have inspired me in so many ways anyway. But let me touch on this. How do you use your understanding of student challenges to bring about positive change to your classroom?
We all have challenges. Everybody has their own challenge. There's not a person in this world that I've came across that hasn't had their difficulties or anything of that nature. So knowing that kids have problems too. They might not be problems that we think are problems, but it's problems to them.
Yeah.
Even some of these kids are coming in with adult problems that I see in middle school.
Mhm.
So you have to be aware of that and be aware of where you can meet them. They can't come in the classroom, one, be hungry, or two, had to, take on a load of responsibility at home, come in and just flip on the switch and be the kid. You have to kind of, let them know this is their safe space. Let them know that you don't have to worry about those challenges right now. Focus on this right now, and those challenges will become something of your past. They won't continue to happen. You can get rid of them through this education.
Mm.
I like that, LaNyah. That's inspiring. What have you learned from being a boy mom that informs your work?
Being a boy mom, I love it. I couldn't imagine anything else.
Right.
Right? You already know.
Yes.
Boy mama too. I'm more one of done. But being a boy mom, to me, the male students are looked at like they don't really pay attention to education. You'll come across, one or two boys that hit it right on the nose, but usually they say the girls are, more ready to learn.
Okay.
However, the boys are too. You just gotta approach them a different way. You gotta figure out what their favorite things are. Talk to them in their lingo, because the girls are easier to connect with because, of course, they see me as a woman, a
Mhm.
female as well. So they look at in a different way. Where the boys, they kind of look at you like the auntie, the mom. So it's like when you tell them to do something, they're like, what? So being a boy mom, I know how to be like, give that mom look to them.
Yes.
Oh,
And, like, look.
okay. So you relate to them that way with the
Yes,
mom look.
exactly. So take on that role. If they already looking at you like you're the auntie and the mom, be the auntie, be the mom.
Right. I like that.
You truly might
Right.
be their auntie and mom, and that could be something that speaks to them in
Oh
that
yeah,
manner. So that's
definitely. I have um eighth graders right now. I'll go down the hallway. They're like, "Hey, auntie," I have some that say "mom." It's a love thing.
I
So
It
know it
really
is,
is.
and you're familiar with that because that's exactly what you call me. So
yes,
you know how, yeah, it trickles down.
it does. It does.
I do have a question. So, what are some of the most pressing issues you've observed as a millennial educator, and how are you working to address them?
As a millennial educator,
Hmm.
coming in with as an educator, we kind of have levels when it comes to how long have you been working as an educator, been in the classroom. So as a I guess like I'm not a freshman. This is probably about my second senior year, I'll say,
Okay.
year 5. So I'm still new to this game, and you have older generations that are kind of like stuck to doing things a certain way.
Right.
So a lot of this new content, new ways of engaging students, that could kind of put, you know, a road in a bump, like a speed bump, to get them to, make those changes they need to engage into these students, because these students that I'm teaching are what Gen Zs, the younger Gen Zs. So
Mm.
that's only what a generation down from me, where these Gen Xs who are
Be careful
teaching.
now.
No offense, mom, but these Gen
Tread lightly.
X's that are
Nothing
teaching.
wrong with it.
Right, there's nothing wrong with it, because I like the old school. I have to bring the old school into the classroom
Yes.
sometimes, because sometimes if kids aren't understanding, when I help with this math, this new math, don't get me to teaching math, never, knock on wood.
Why
It's
not?
like a
But
foreign language, like a
it
foreign
is,
language. When
Yeah.
I help
it
my
is.
grandson, it's like, Mimi, can you help me? No, absolutely not. Go to your mom, find your dad, but I'm tapping out here.
No. So going back, the Gen X's, they're trying to teach a generation that's three doors down,
Mm.
basically. So that's a harder connection. They're not really into the newer trends on how to connect with them. So as a millennial, I can speak their lingo. First of all, I have a Gen Z myself, so I hear it all day, every day. But being able to go back to the classroom and, if I want to get their attention, I can say something that they know, and they're like, oh,
And they relate.
yeah, then they can relate. And then they're more willing to listen to you.
Yes.
Once you do that, once you make that connection, you can relate to them, and you know that, oh, you're interested in some of the stuff that they're interested in, but you can show them that, hey, even though we like this stuff, we gotta,
You got a job to do.
right, we could talk about that afterwards or in between, but we here, but let's be over here.
I love it.
Uh, LaNyah, now, can you share a time or an example when you saw a need for change in the community as an educator and you were motivated to make a difference?
Well, just me going into teaching, like the change that I see in the community is we need teachers, one, that care, two, that are willing to understand right now may not be our time as far as getting the compensation that we deserve. But just like other careers, people have gone out there and made that fight to get to what they need to be compensated. We can do the same thing, but we can't punish the children for the lack and support. Um, Seeing the need for that in my community, seeing the need for teachers that aren't just coming in and, really teaching to pass the test, really educating these kids so they could find the love for. If you ask anybody that gets in a career, no matter their career, they're like, oh, well, what got you into this? 8 times out of 10, it's a teacher from that subject. We're not only teaching the youth, we're creating the next doctors, we're creating the next nurses, next engineers, the next, inventor. So when they find that passion in something, in something other than the Roblox and the Fortnites, when they find that passion,
Not the Fortnite.
Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
yes, when they find that passion in education, they you setting them up for success.
Mhm. Well, thank you for touching
So
on that.
coming into that, yeah, that's what I wanted to be. So just going into teaching, that's the change I give to my community.
Okay. How does your involvement with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated translate
AKA.
hey, translate from recognizing community needs into meaningful service?
Yes, my sorority is definitely one of a kind. It is a sisterhood of phenomenal women from every types of background. Being able to be in the classroom, see certain needs, and being able to have a sisterhood to reach out to, not only for materials, like we have done back to school drives throughout our community. We have done plenty of things for the youth, like hygiene packs, book bags for students who don't have food over the weekend. They might be low with the food, so we give them like food, set those up for different schools. Or backpack buddies, what we call it.
Backpack
I
buddies.
like
I like
that.
Uh,
that.
yeah, backpack buddies. So it provides like little meals and snacks for last them over the weekend. Because a lot of these kids, when the only time they eat is when they're at school.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, having that sisterhood where we could call on and gather around, and they already know the need to strengthen our
Mhm.
schools, and they already understand the passion behind it and what it's going to bring to our table as a culture. That is something that is just one of a kind, and being able to go to other educators within my sorority and ask for advice or even network with them and talk about different things that I see on a day-to-day basis. It gives me like that kind of a safety net to know that I'm not alone in this journey.
Mhm. And that's
Yeah.
typically that's what we're finding out during our calls of turning awareness into action. That's the
Hmm.
biggest thing you speak of is you're not alone.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, and they're not.
excellent. Now, given your experience, what is the most significant barrier that prevents people from applying what they know, and how do you help students overcome it?
Themselves.
Well, I mean, hey.
Okay.
Themselves. Honestly, not only that, I can't. That's a big part of it. Also, I would say having the resources that are needed. Those two things are critical. Sometimes we know, but there's also what we can find out more. Even as a teacher, I'm learning. Um, Even like things that I think I know, there's always something new popping up in
Yeah.
science and social studies. We see stuff work out and change every day. So when you ask what's our holdback or why can't people really move forward with certain things, they could be their own holdback. Also having the material and the necessities to meet your goals
Yeah.
can be a
I
challenge.
can imagine.
Yeah.
We always see people. I see a lot of church and charities do a lot of back to school drives and things like that, as your sorority does as well.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't understand how it truly impactful that can be for
Mhm.
just a student who can just get up in the morning, brush and get out the door brushing their teeth.
Mhm.
You know, those
Mm-hmm.
those are big things for kids, and when those resources are taken away, it cripples the ability just to even go to school
To
every
learn.
day.
Just to learn.
Just
Because
to be
these
there.
kids know, they when they come in the classroom in the morning time, if they didn't, they don't feel 100%, they're not gonna give you 100%.
Right. Hmm.
They're not. If they don't feel confident within themselves walking down the hall,
Yeah.
I've had girls come in. I'm like, "What's wrong, hon?"
Oh.
They're like, "My hair." And then the hair is fine, but to them, they're
Oh.
like, "No, but my edges. Can you do this?" I'm like, "That's why I don't have girls. I'm a boy mom, but come here, I'll help you."
Look at my best. I love
Yeah, it didn't look any better than what it did before, but they're like, "Okay, yeah, girl, I see you."
I love
And
it.
it's like, "Okay, now you better. We good? Can we go ahead and start our day?" They're
Thank
like,
you. Right.
"Yeah, yeah."
Let's get the plane off the runway here.
I love it. So, in your opinion, how can we help young people become more informed about social and political issues and then empower them to get involved?
We're gonna have to make that link. Like they have to understand that what's going on now, that's going to affect you, hun, in the next sooner than you think. You're 11, 12. In my classroom, I have 11, 12 year olds. Um, in about 5, 6 years, that's gonna be you. When
True.
you go get your first job, that tax money that's coming out, that's because of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Y'all want the new J's, y'all want
Connect those dots.
right. You think you gonna want a house at 21.
Right?
Well, yeah,
Uh,
there's got to be a connection to get them, and it's like, what do you use? What tools do you use to bring their awareness that
real
this is
life.
Real
impactful?
life.
Yeah.
Real life.
Okay.
Ask some real life. Like, okay, have you asked your mom for something recently? And she's like, money tight right now. Ask her why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Why
like
couldn't you get your toy this week? Why couldn't you get them Roblox this week?
okay.
that. Roblox.
Why?
Right? Let
I
them
get
know.
it.
Well, yeah. Why you only got one pair of shoes and your mama like that's enough? They fresh. That's all you need. Like,
Okay.
ask why
Got
are
it.
times hard
And then
right
usher in
now?
those conversations with them. I
I
Mm-hmm.
get
like
it.
that.
Exactly. And for me, I'm more of ancient civilization for our curriculum in 6th grade. But still, they have to understand why our society, why our economy is the way it is today. How did we get to here? We didn't get to here just wake up and pop up and like, oh, everything just fell into place. No, things had to happen.
Right.
What happened?
Okay. Well, I like that.
And
Challenge.
it also teaches them skills like social studies teaches you not only what's going on and where we came from as a society, but it also teaches you about other cultures, how to put yourself in other people's shoes, or
That part.
even how to do certain skills that you're going to need when you go out there. You're reading things in the newspaper, you're reading things about maybe a bill that's going to affect your community. You need to understand where these sources are coming from.
Right.
You need to understand, like we tell them, everything you see on the internet is not true. Everything you read in the blog or read on the news, even the newspaper,
True.
isn't true, or it's told in a way because of somebody else's background, somebody else's beliefs.
Their
Perspective.
So,
perspective.
right, perspective. So you have to understand what you're reading, not only the words, but where is it coming from?
There
Yeah.
you go. I
What
get
was the
that.
purpose of this?
So, let me ask you this: what advice would you give to someone who knows what they need to do, but struggles to take the first step toward change?
Figure out what is this helping you for? Like, why do you want to do this? One, what's your why? Two, find you a few people that want to see you succeed, want to hold you accountable. Yeah, you have
Find
been
you a
that person for
tribe.
me. Yes.
Find you a tribe.
Brittany knows.
Yes. Yes. That.
Brittany knows, yes. Um, have you not just family and friends, but have you people that are in the in the field already or that have what you have and talk to them and have those people that you can rely on because anything that's worth doing is not going to be easy. So of course you're going to have those days and those times when you're like, why am I even doing this? um Remind yourself your why and talk to those people.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that we're touching base on community.
Yeah.
Again, that's like the
Mm-hmm.
repetitive theme, and I love
Yeah.
that.
You're
Yes.
key.
How does your knowledge of different student experiences from community college to four-year university guide your mentorship?
That's a good question.
Yes. Knowing there's many paths that you could take to reach your goal. Letting the kids know that, hey, it wasn't an easy journey for me. It might not be an easy journey for you, but I'm gonna try to make it easier.
Mm,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try to make it easy. I'm gonna try to help guide you. Um, Letting them know mm, you might not think you're strong right now, but you could start and go to community college. Hey, you can go to 4-year college, tap in and say, hold on, this is a little too fast. Let me recline back a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You have to, having that experience kind of helps me guide those kids that I know need that help, need that push,
Yeah.
need those options.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
So, give me a time or tell me a moment in your career where your insight into a student's personal struggle led you to step in and make a positive impact on them.
When you understand
mm,
what's going on in a child's life,
mhm,
you start to understand why they come to school and what you're talking about is the last thing on their mind.
Mm. Whew.
So I've had several students that I know that what's going on in their personal lives, whether it's not living at home with their parents or the parents not being there, or I'm in a military town, or even having to move, or knowing that their parent is, out of seas. You can kind of, talk to them, you can guide them and help them understand that this might be on your mind, but don't let it stop you.
mm,
Don't let it stop you. Like, understand that you might have a little more leniency to, okay, you just do this for me today.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And if you want to talk about this over here, I got you.
yeah,
Like, let me get everybody settled. Let me teach this class. But while I'm teaching, you might just do this for me right here. And then I'll come and we'll talk and we'll have our little powwow. And,
Like you said
if you
earlier, the safe space. You're their safe
yeah,
space.
in a safe space. Like I got you. Like okay, I understand that's on your mind. I got about 30 other students over here though.
Bear with me, but I'm working with you.
I got you.
I love that. So, what do
Yeah.
you think? What role does self reflection play in an individual's ability to bring about change and create a fulfilling life for themselves?
That's a big part of our mission statement in our building is accountability for one, um, communication and compassion. So with that, I tell them all the time, y'all are kids. I know that y'all don't come in here talk. I know that you guys are, gonna come in here playing around, but you know our expectations.
Right.
You know our rules. You know me as a teacher, what I want to tolerate. You're not new to this. So when you do something wrong, I tell them I love you. But you're gonna get that consequence because you gotta hold yourself accountable. You gotta understand that your actions cause this reaction.
Mm.
You know?
I love that.
Excellent. So, in your role, how do you model the principle of awareness into action for your students, showing them how to turn understanding into results?
You gotta practice what you preach.
Mm,
Yeah. So when you have a student that you might even go off on
Mm.
because
Go
they were doing
off.
something. Yeah, you just go off. You gotta. And then it's happened before. Like, oh, a student will come tell me that a student did something, and I might give them consequences or give them this lecture or whatever, and then turn out that that student was setting them up or not telling the whole truth.
Oh, not the
I'll tell you,
setup.
I'm sorry. I'll be like, my bad.
Right.
And
Sorry.
I'm gonna say it in front of everybody because I did it in front of everybody. So why wouldn't I apologize to these kids in front of everybody? You gotta show them that how you hold yourself accountable, and how you take the consequences of stuff. So I'm a firm believer in that. Like hearing the kids, like if I'm wrong about something, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
If I don't know something, hey, I don't know. Let's look it up.
Right. Right.
Because if I tell y'all to try, I'm going to show you how to try. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to show you what taking accountability is. I'm going to show you what it looks like to have compassion for others. You know,
Good.
so just modeling, that is the
Modeling.
best
Good.
way.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
So, looking back on your journey, what is the most critical lesson you've learned about turning a moment of realization into a lifelong commitment to making a difference?
When you realize something, you have to, put it forward, put it in action. So if you realize there's a lack of need in something, put it into action. Like, how are you going to change that? How are we going to stop this? Or how are we going to make this better? So, learning new things, new techniques, learning, the new way kids learn and how to engage them. That is something I learned on my journey that I try to put the forth every day in some type of way.
Okay. Well, thank you for touching on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it's been a really great conversation with you,
I knew
Naya.
it would be.
And we're gonna
No.
have to get you here so we can do more of these. So you can
Yes.
come into the studio.
Have a cocktail.
Yeah, have a cocktail with us. So let me ask you this: you, how old is your son?
16.
Is he's really about to drive?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Now, oh my goodness!
I know.
I wasn't ready for
I,
that.
honey, every day in my head he's 10, and then I'm like, oh, my kid is 10.
I'm still seeing Gabriel that age when he
know.
was that age. So
I know.
crazy work right there. 16 years old.
Mm.
So now let me ask you this. What does your son think about you being a teacher?
Oh, yeah.
I think at first, because once I became a teacher, he was like, what, fourth grade?
Mm-hmm.
Fourth grade, fifth grade? So, and it was right at COVID time. COVID had just taken place after like my second month.
Wow.
So I don't think it really hit him until, to be honest, when he came to school with me, his sixth grade and seventh grade year, and then he kind of sees how like the other kids, you know, react towards me and hear them call me auntie and mama. He was like, hold up, that's mama.
No, that's mama. That's mama
But
today.
then I think he appreciates like having a parent that understands what's going on in the classroom, what's going on in school, what might be going on socially with the kids, knowing how like getting a phone call from a teacher from to like might not, it's gonna hit different if your parent's not a teacher or educator, but when if I get a phone call, which I don't, but if I ever did, I'm gonna ask certain questions. I'm gonna like, okay, well, what was going on? Who are the kids, other kids that are involved? I'm trying to get the whole picture, and understand the dynamics of the culture of the classroom or what was going on during that situation
Mhm.
that led to this phone call. So I give leniency towards certain things. Because I know teachers, I know the workload we have. So if he's telling me that his teacher didn't grade something, I'm not like, oh yeah, right. I'm like, okay. And that might be true.
Okay.
I
All
got a
right.
couple students waiting for me to update this grade.
Well,
So
at the end
yes,
of the day, you're still a mom,
Right.
yes,
and you're his mom. So
right.
you've got your own challenges in your own personal life. How do you separate the two? Because for me, I've always looked at my occupation as I've got to put on a different face when I go to work.
A different hat here and then a different hat here.
Yeah. So how do you may have had a horrible day at home. Nothing went right, You walked out the door and the cat was looking at you crazy, and you forgot your phone.
Drop the coffee.
And, all these crazy
That
things that
part.
happen. How do you turn that off and then focus on your kids?
You know, it's to me, it's a different environment. My home. Sometimes I don't bring a lot of work home. One. So when I'm leaving home, it's actually like I'm leaving whatever's going on at home.
Okay.
When I walk into that classroom, Brittany will tell you Miss McNeill and
Okay.
LaNyah.
All right.
When I walk in that building, I'm Miss McNeill.
You can drop that weight at the
Yeah,
door.
yeah. You have to shed those things because it can interfere. And like going back to what I'm saying, modeling, if I'm telling students that you gotta leave some of those things at the door and come in here and focus on this education, this material, I gotta do the same thing. I gotta come in and leave some of the things. Hey, it'll be there at 3:05.
It can wait.
Take it away, put it on pause. Like they say, pause.
Mute.
Yes, everybody on mute.
I love it.
Okay. Let me see. I had one other thing that came to mind that I was thinking when you, as a teacher, and like you said, you get those. I guess your son's looking at you differently now that you are a teacher. So there's a
Yes.
certain level, I guess, an additional level of respect. I'm assuming you get from him
Oh
being
yes.
his mother
Yeah.
now that you're a teacher.
Oh, oh yes.
How does it when you go home with that? How does it impact your home life now that you're teaching during the day and then you go home with your son at night? Do you see a difference now since you become a teacher?
Definitely, because I'm like, okay, go to Canvas and pull this up. He's like, oh, I don't. I'm like, yeah, you know what it is. Let me show you.
You cannot
It's right
escape.
here.
I love it.
Or I don't know something like no, it's right here. I'll help you find it. Or I know something's going on like district wide because he is in high school. I'm still in middle school. So even I just know like what I know the routines and stuff like that, me being more aware of even like the changes, the slightest changes that go on. And I'm on it because I've been told it. I've been, given the rundown on what it is, why we're doing it, how to do it. I'm in those same professional development classes that his teachers are in and taking a part of. So I understand the initiatives as a district and understanding just where to find things. Like we have the Canvas, we have these other resources, so I know how to help him with that. I think it gets on his nerves sometimes.
Why do you know it all, Mom?
It definitely gets on his nerves sometimes, but he definitely knows how to come and ask me about things too. So as much as I'm asking, showing him and telling him, he will come and be like, "Where do I go if I need this?" or "What's this mean on this?"
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Naya? Thank you so much for joining us today on the
Thank
Daily Family
you.
Podcast. Woo! Beyond the
Yes, so
Bell,
glad.
educating for a better tomorrow. It was a privilege to hear about your incredible journey. Are you going anywhere else? What are we elevating any higher?
Yes, she is.
Yes, definitely. I got a couple things coming that's in the works.
To
We'll
be
keep them on the
continued.
low, right?
Yes.
To be
All right.
continued.
We'll see you again and again.
But there's a couple things brewing.
Yes.
Well, it was incredible to hear about your journey and the transition from biology to political science to and invaluable culture insights that you bring from your HBCU experience. So you've given us so much today.
Yes, and so much to
Yes.
reflect on today, especially the crucial role of awareness into action and the essential part that self reflection plays in creating a fulfilling life. Your commitment to turning an understanding of student struggles and community needs to be meaningful. Positive change is truly a model for all of us.
Thank you for
Yes,
sharing your
thank you.
perspective as a millennial educator, a dedicated member of AKA Sorority Incorporated, and a wonderful human being.
Oh, thank you, ladies. It's been such a pleasure. I can't
You've
wait to
shown
come
us that
back.
you've shown us that education extends far beyond the classroom bell.
Yes,
So
yes.
To our listeners, we hope this episode inspires you to take the first step towards change, to apply what you know, and make a lasting difference in your own community.
you've been listening to the Daily Balance podcast with your host Adean and Brittany. We'll catch you next week with another incredible episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like, subscribe, follow. It's all we need to do the absolute best to make sure you never miss a show or an episode. Until next week, remember, count it all joy.
That's it right there.